Well, Shep 309, you saw correct. I can see some people freaking out about the off ball comment from White, that head coach, Stephanie White. And to be honest with you, I did not see that coming. I did not see myself doing another video on Stephanie White's Q&A with The Athletic from earlier today, but the comment in question, I read it in the last video talking about why I think the Fever are going to be so dangerous and Caitlin Clark's increase in strength. But there was one section that I just kind of read through and didn't realize there would be a reaction to. For us as coaches, it's moving her off the ball a little bit more so she's not getting worn out in game. We're challenging her on the defensive end of the floor as well, being a better defender. As an opponent, you want to attack a good offensive player by making them play on the defensive end, putting them through the ringer. We will be creative as a staff how we utilize her and how we utilize her talents. I don't know how that's a controversial quote, but let's go for it here. First of all, let me begin by saying who coached against Caitlin Clark last year? Not only in her first WNBA game, but in the playoffs. Was it Stephanie White? True or false, the Connecticut Sun did a good job against Caitlin Clark. I would say true, right? So you are talking about the coach who studied, game planned, and went against Caitlin Clark. Do you think she knows what she's talking about or no? Also, when she says play off the ball a little bit more, that doesn't mean they're taking the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands. Let's not be ridiculous here. Caitlin Clark is the engine of this team. She will have the ball in her hands the majority of the game. She will be the decision maker on the court and an extension of the coach. But taking her off the ball a little bit more is wise. See, here's the thing. You have to give the defense different looks. You give them the same one every single time, they're going to know what to prepare for. You can't just run pick and roll the entire game. You can't just give Caitlin Clark the ball and say go the entire game. I mean, you can. It'll work to a degree. But when you play the better teams and when you go through a long season, you're going to want some versatility. And you're going to want to not to run her into the ground. That's another aspect of it. Not only does playing her off the ball more give her a chance to get some easier buckets, but it also gives her a chance to get a rest. Because you play her off the ball, she might be able to catch and shoot, get a wide open three. She might be able to move, relocate, and get a wide open shot. Or get the ball when the defense isn't zoned in on her because she's coming off the action, gets it, they're not prepared, she goes. Now, again, she's going to have the ball. She's going to be the decision maker. She's going to have the ball 85% of the time. Just a number I'm making up. But you ever watch the Golden State Warriors play? Steph Curry goes off the ball at times. It allows him to get open looks. Hell, even LeBron James at this point in his career goes off the ball at times because it allows him to get a rest, catch and shoot, others to create, others to get reps, others to get looks. So that's all Stephanie White is talking about, a little versatility in the offense, not just giving you the same thing every single time down the court. She also talked about how anybody can take the ball and go. That's what you want. You want Kelsey Mitchell to be able to go, I'm out. You want, Flash to be able to say, I'm out. Or Bonner, same thing. Like all these players are capable of doing that. And that only makes Clark. So remember when Erica Wheeler had the ball and dumped it off behind her and Clark hit? That might have been the highlight of the year. Clark didn't have the ball to begin that possession, but she came down the floor and got it. Got an open shot as a result. When she has it, they're going to overload on her, which is going to allow other people to flourish, no questions asked. And they're still their main course of attack is going to be Caitlin Clark decision-making with the ball and pushing the ball. They want to play fast. Stephanie White said that. But other teams want to take away what you do best. And to have Clark have the ball every single possession, playing nearly every minute of every game is a fool's errand in the long run because it will wear her down. And, as she said there, the other teams are going to want to attack her on defense. You got to be prepared for that because that's going to wear her down. And it's just impossible to ask one player to initiate the offense every single time down the court and be an elite defender at the same time and never come off the floor. That's impossible. So all she's talking about is a little bit of variety, a little bit of a different look. The main course is Caitlin Clark on the ball, but maybe you want a side dish. Maybe you'd like a garnish, perhaps a dessert. some of that stuff. And that's all. You're talking about a coach who literally went against her. Literally did the best job of anybody at stopping her. Or containing her, I guess is a better word. Didn't stop her. But what happened after, it was also Caitlin Clark's first WNBA game. So that was going to be natural. Remember the talk after that game? Like, Dejanay Carrington, the son, welcome to the reality of the league. And that was the coach there. And in the playoffs, who did a better job against Kelsey Mitchell than Stephanie White or Caitlin? In that first game, Clark didn't have her best game. That was Stephanie White. So I'm pretty sure Stephanie White knows what the hell she's talking about. And not to mention, did you ever hear, Christy Sides rattle off as many variations, as many different areas of attack, as many different thought processes that Stephanie White did? I remember at the beginning of the year, everybody was crying because Christy Sides said, I think she wanted her to take more long twos or something about the I forget what she said, but it was, or she couldn't get her open. This is Stephanie White talking to you about how she's going to get her open, how she's going to make Clark's life easier. And if Clark's life is easier, everyone's life is easier. And then Clark's best qualities get amplified because they're not the only diet. They're not the other team becomes on their heels when they have to worry about, okay, well, Clark doesn't have the ball right now. What's she doing over there? We got to pay attention to her over there. Maybe Kelsey does it, or whatever the case is. And then when Clark does have the ball, because these other actions have been dealt with, it's harder to predict what's going to happen next. Or you're not, as in tune to it as you would be if it was the only thing you're seeing. I mean, I understand what Clark did at Iowa, and we saw it translate to the league. And yes, I agree with everyone who says, things changed for the Fever when they gave her the keys last year, when Sides finally relented and gave her the keys. This is not Stephanie White saying she's taken the keys away. I promise you that. Caitlin Clark is going to run the show for the Indiana Fever. It's just telling you that maybe, sometimes she can do so from the passenger seat for a few minutes. Or, maybe that's a bad analogy, but you get the point. It's simply saying, not going to wear her down, going to show the other team different looks, and we're going to rely on the talent we have as a whole. I believe the phrasing was even a little bit more. That was the exact word, a little bit more. And she would know. She had to guard it. She had to game plan for it. So I believe I would trust Stephanie White over a few tweets.